So my name is Pilvi Nummi, and I'm a postdoctoral researcher in Aalto University, and I have a dual affiliation in Tallinn University of Technology as well. My presentation is about usefulness of new digital tools for communicative city planning. In the GreenTwins project, we have carried out a comprehensive user research process to understand the user needs for the tools that we are developing. I mentioned the implementation gap between technology-driven development and the users, and we are actually trying to bridge that gap in our work. I will reflect on how the tools can be useful for urban planners and active citizens, which are the most two main user groups for our tools. Even if we ourselves as researchers think that we are developing great and useful tools, we should keep in mind that the users do not share our thoughts. They may not even feel that they need our tools. So that's why we are doing user research in this project. Before we go to the tools, let me explain what we mean with usefulness. In human-computer interaction, usefulness is used to describe how well the tools can meet the user's needs. In this sense, a usefulness consists of utility and usability. Utility is about the fit between the task and technology, meaning that the features of the tool have to fit to the task or activities of the users. Meanwhile, usability is about how efficiently, effectively, and pleasantly the user can accomplish their tasks with the tool. To measure or test the usability requires the tools to be available, of course, for testing. In our case, we are actually not yet in that phase. And that's why we are focusing on the utility part of the usefulness, meaning that how can the tools support users' activities within the context of urban planning? And to be able to do this, to assess the utility of the tools, we must have an understanding of the people who are the users of the tool and what are their characteristics, what are their activities and goals, and in what kind of context do they use the tool, and what kind of opportunities and constraints does technology offer. The concept we are developing in GreenTwins is a planning support system, which supports smart and communicative planning. We are not talking about one tool, but a set of tools and methods to be used to support collaboration and participation in planning processes. Therefore, we call it Communicative Planning Support System. The concept includes not only the tools, but also methods for managing the planning process and communicative activities, as well as managing the content created within the processes. The GreenTwins tools form a collection of tools that support each other. The dynamic information model is a central part of the system. We call it Digital Plant Library, as it includes intelligent algorithmic-based plant objects that can be used in these digital tools, co-design and simulation applications. In addition, a physical city planning hub that will be developed in Tallinn will enable these tools to be used in interactive workshops. To understand how these tools could benefit the users, we decided to engage the users in the development process from the very beginning. We started by identifying user groups and the information needs of those users. We organized a series of workshops, which included a survey to gather information. We have analyzed the data in collaborative research workshops, which have resulted in an understanding of user needs and how GreenTwins tools could meet them. In other words, what would be useful for the users? In urban planning, there is a wide spectrum of different stakeholder groups, and they have different perspectives to planning and participation. In this presentation, I will now focus only in the two main user groups, which are the active citizens and urban planners. Active citizens are those who have a desire to make a change, make their living environment a better place. They emphasize communication more than planning itself, and are motivated to participate and even make bottom-up initiatives to impact on urban planning. They are looking for tools to be used for creating and promoting their own or collaboratively created ideas. Ideas that would make people's everyday life better. That's their motivation. Planners instead, they are motivated by making better plans and being able to accomplish their tasks with less effort so that they actually can focus in planning. They emphasize knowledge-based debate, which means that the tools should provide facts and figures about the plans to be discussed with different stakeholders. They want to understand local stakeholders' needs, and they seek for gathering local experiential knowledge and feedback for their plans. But they focus on formal plans, which means that plans created bottom up by the citizens do not at the moment find their place in the official planning processes. Apart from that, planners see themselves as advocates for the public interest and want to ensure that participation is representative. They understand the value of green environment and often have to defend it. As you can see, these user groups have very different needs towards the digital tools. We have to admit that this is a challenge to meet the needs for both of these user groups. But now let's look closer to certain features that GreenTwins tools based on the user research results can provide for the users. We know that urban green is an essential quality factor of urban environment. Both planners and active citizens value livability of the living environments. Greenery influences visual perception of the cityscape and contributes to the local identity and supports ecological sustainability. Our tools can help planners to promote the values of green by providing tools for visualizing and analyzing the impacts of green elements. The digital plant library provides algorithmic plans for the co-planning application to be used for analyzing, for example, the green area factor, which is an indicator that expresses the relative proportion of green area in an area. With the simulation tool Urban Tempo, the value of green can be analyzed visually in virtual reality. And the City Planning Hub provides a place for debate over the value of green. If we then think about the requirement for knowledge-based debate, which was strongly emphasized by planners, GreenTwins tools can support this if we enable the users to get also quantitative information of the plans. This means that in the co-planning application, we need to calculate figures, like for example, how much there is new building in the plan, or how much does the green infrastructure cost. The digital plant library helps us to do this by providing information about the plant objects placed in the plan for the calculations. The hub, again, is the place for collaboration where this data is brought together for debate, like for example in this picture. And the simulation tools inspires knowledge-based discussion by visualizations and helps in creating shared understanding. It is evident that active citizens want not only to participate, but also to really be involved in the planning process. This means that they should not only to be listened, but also to be given the possibility to participate in analyzing impacts of plans from their own perspective, of course. They should be able to participate in those questions that are relevant for them. Someone is interested in the visual appearance of the city, and someone considers the ecological or, for example, cultural impacts more important. With GreenTwins tools, we can support analyzing different impacts of a plan. The simulation tool enables the user to see and analyze how the green environment would change over time when the green elements grow and seasons change. But it can also enable assessing other than visual impacts. If we provide semantic information in the model, for example, calculations about CO2 capturing and stormwater absorption. These kind of analyses are usually considered as work of experts, and the participatory activities in impact analysis phase is limited. Therefore, GreenTwins tools are clearly widening the scope of public participation and thus may increase the motivation to active citizens to participate. The fourth aspect I would like to point out is the role of citizens in city planning. We have a vision of a planning process where active citizens could contribute to planning also with their own initiatives. The need for fostering citizen activism derive from our user research results as well. Active citizens may be a huge resource for urban planning if their input can be smoothly integrated to the planning process. The co-planning tool will support active citizens' participation in planning by providing an open and accessible tool for creating, promoting, and sharing their own ideas. They can use the tool for their own purposes and also to make initiatives for the city. And the hub can also be used by citizens themselves to gather together and collaborate. As a conclusion, I want to point out that the usefulness of the tools do not only depend on the fit between the planning tasks or citizen activities and technology. It also depends on the planning culture. It seems that there are certain aspects that fit easily to the prevailing planning culture. These include using the analytical tools for knowledge-based debate, using simulations and visualizations for assessing impacts of plans, and for promoting the value of green. Even co-planning alternative plans by the citizens would fit the current practices if the plans are made within the official planning processes. But the possible misfits relate to the role of active citizens. The question is, are the cities willing and able to foster citizen activism? Do they see it politically important? If so, the bottom-up self-organizing activities has to find a place in the top-down city-led processes. I believe that culture is changing in that direction where active people are becoming more and more important in society. Inclusion is already seen as an important strategic objective in the city of Tallinn. Therefore, it is possible that also the active citizens can find the GreenTwins communicative planning support system useful for themselves. In the coming phases of our project, we will focus more on the other dimension of usefulness, namely usability, when we will be able to test the tools in real planning cases. Thank you, and thank you for our GreenTwins team also.